I'm thirsty.
Welcome one and all to Lester's Corn Maze, where you can feel free to imbibe from the lake of Lester's FIXIN'S sweet corn flavored soda. With a hard carbonated bite and strong buttery notes, this soft drink is guaranteed to give you a corny experience unlike any you've ever experienced before. This is one corn maze you won't mind getting lost in.
Gotta love that ever-changing melody. What do we have here? Vegetable oil? Lester's FIXIN'S sweet corn flavored soda? The taste of buttery corn on the cob, liquefied and carbonated for my pleasure! What more can I say at this point? I have whined and I have bitched and complained about these Lester's FIXIN'S products since the very beginning, and now here I am, this is like the fifth one or so. I'm running out of things to say. I'm popping blood vessels trying to think of new ways to present this material. It's almost like I have to come up with my own words. How would you describe something like Lester's FIXIN'S sweet corn flavored soda? You know what? Suddenly I'm reminded of the Mike Myers live action Cat in the Hat movie. Can we cue up that movie cover, please? Please, can we? Thank you. Now you see that picture right there? This is one of the worst movie covers of all time. Can you believe that this is the shot that they settled with? Like, that is exactly what the director was looking for? What is that face? Doesn't it look like they snapped the picture as he was in the middle of saying something? And not just any something. That face tells me that he was in the middle of saying a very specific word. He was saying Kzshhhszt. 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 Who knew that that terrible movie was so secretly deep? From here on in, when I'm confronted with an item such as this, an item that defies all explanation, perhaps there is nothing left but Kzshhhszt. This soda right here is pure, liquefied, carbonated, bottled Kzshhhszt. What are you waiting for? Start the top 10. Number 5, the Peanut Allergy Alert. This, I gotta say, was actually a good idea. People don't think when they're reviewing food items to clue in those who suffer from strong peanut allergies. True, it was kind of a goof that I did it in the first place, but believe it or not, I actually had received praise for doing it. The downside, however, was remembering to do it. I only had 2 peanut allergy alerts in all the time I've been doing Limbo Grub, but whoops, I had reviewed countless peanut-related items on the show. Because I do these shows with so very little prep, flying by the seat of my pants, it's very easy to miss all the little odds and ends, especially since at the time there was a new change every week. You know, I really hope to the man upstairs that an allergy sufferer didn't try one of these products because I didn't warn them beforehand. Public service announcement. Read labels before you try any of the food items you see on this show. I promise you, the absolute last thing you want to do is put your life in my hands. Number 4, the new wardrobe. I am so happy to get rid of the hip, trendy wardrobe of a Hottie Scotty pancake. I do a lot of filming in the summer, and the central air doesn't really evenly cool off this house, and at the end of every shoot, screaming and bursting under these hot lights, it became the norm to be so bathed in sweat, I would have to take another shower. The dumb beads that I used to wear around my neck, they never fastened right, and towards the end of Hottie Scotty, you'll notice them falling off of my neck very often. And having an unflappable wardrobe had its share of problems. Many times the shirt wasn't clean in time for filming, sometimes I'd have to pull it out of the dryer and it wasn't even dry yet. One time I even left it in another state and had to have it mailed back to me, if you could believe that. All these issues could have been easily avoided if I could just adopt a different look. Now, true, the hoodie is not as cumbersome and loud as the leather jacket, which I wore in the very beginning, but I am overall just happy to finally go back to DJ's roots, raid my Hawaiian shirt collection, and air out the old sweat glands for once. Hopefully you won't be seeing so many pit stains as a result. Number 3, threatening to charge money. Pet peeve or major beef! Look, I'm not an idiot. I understand fully that the truly successful podcasts and YouTube shows have to do this to sustain themselves. But as a viewer, there is nothing that pulls you out more than to have your favorite characters stepping out of character to ask for money. I even get the sense from some of these shows, once again, I'm not going to name names, they feel like you, the viewer, owe it to them. Some of the YouTube shows and podcasts I personally hold in highest regard do this, and I don't stand for it. I'm the kind of guy who will use that little slide bar on the bottom to skip past those shameless shilling bits because they annoy me that much. Well, if Hottie Scotty is going to be so closely aping what all the other shows are doing, and he's going to zone in on those most annoying traits, it's a natural he would start bilking his viewers for money. And he's going to turn that entitlement dial up to 11, barfing his rhetoric that the viewers owe it to him, especially when he threatened to make his viewers pay for stuff that they used to get for free. On this show, it's all a goof. But I can't believe that there are hosts out there who can do this to their viewers with a straight face. Number 2, pop-up ads. If you listen to podcasts like I currently do, chances are this is a major thorn in your side. It's bad enough when the hosts themselves have to stop what they're doing to hawk some product that they themselves have never used, but it's even worse when it's a pre-recorded ad placed randomly throughout the broadcast. Now, these are normally placed at timed intervals, meaning that the chances are quite high that the ad is going to kick in the middle of a sentence or a deep discussion. Now, yes, I recognize that they do it to fund the show and pay the bills, make a living, but it obstructs the rhythm to the point where sometimes I've already forgotten what the hosts were talking about once the commercial is over. So toxic are these ad breaks, it was a given for they to be lampooned on Yucker Yum, covering the same usual products advertised in the low-rent podcast world, from boner pills to medical back braces to experimental medications. And the number 1 worst thing that Hottie Scotty Pancake ever did, words on the screen. To put it simply, words on the screen made editing these videos an annoying chore. Everything about it was annoying. First thing, when it came to putting these videos together, it was always the last thing that I did. So I would be staring at a finished product right in front of my face, the export button is right there asking to be clicked. But I gotta go back and do all this nonsensical monkey work. Second, the way that Power Director works, you cannot line things up in time. When editing a project, you can't watch it back because it doesn't play right. You have to line your titles up with specific sound cues, and the timing of the words on the screen had to go along with my voice. It's tough to explain, but the result was I never knew how it was gonna look until after the export, leaving me to pray and wish for the best. Lastly, it's an annoying trend that has already long since died. It brought nothing to the show, and the only reason I continue to do it was that I promised I would. I bet that if I had stopped and didn't say anything, no one would have even noticed that they were gone. And so that concludes another top 10 list. Agree? Disagree? Comment section down below. Interactivity is what this channel's all about. So I guess I gotta drink this thing now, huh? You know what? It doesn't really seem like that radical a concept, but the things that really scare me about this soda are 2 flavors that don't belong in soft drinks, and that's corn and butter. When I think of soft drinks, I think sugary. When I think of corn and butter, I think salty. 2 complete polar opposites that should only intersect in the most rare of instances. Like chocolate-covered pretzels and potato chips. Maybe like a hint of a sweet fruit taste in a salty salad. Kettle corn popcorn mixes sugary and salty and it tastes pretty damn good to me. Stuff like fondue dip like Ritz crackers into melted chocolate. But a new one hasn't been discovered in a long, long while now, and this! I don't think that this particular product can defy the odds against it. But you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be so scared, because when you really put some thought into it, this isn't really so radical an idea, is it? I mean, think of the two flavors that I'm really scared of here. Butter and corn. Let's concentrate on the butter first. I've never had a butter soda in my life. Just the thought of it just sounds awful, but soda is really not that much different from liquefied candy. Butter candies exist. They're all over the place. I mean, hey, butterscotch, that's pretty damn popular. And you might even find butterscotch in a fizzy drink here and there, so there's that. And on the flip side, we have corn. Corn flavor in a soft drink, it's a little bit more taboo, isn't it? The taste of corn in a soft drink. The taste of corn in a candy. Get your hands off the keyboard there, Kzshhhszt. I can see you. Yeah, I can see you. You're gonna bring up candy corn, but candy corn and regular corn, they're two very different tastes. It just doesn't fit. Corn almost has to be relegated to that salty snack food area of the junk food world. But if you really do some hard pondering, maybe it isn't that radical an idea either. Things like corn pops exist, and those are corn flavored, and they have like a little sugary glaze over them. They're pretty good. People seem to like them okay. You got things like those Jelly Belly popcorn flavored jelly beans, and you take a bite of one of those things, they are popping with the taste of butter. It just explodes with a buttery taste in your mouth, and they're surprisingly good. Suddenly I'm filled with hope. Is the concept fine? Is the concept weird? I guess it's open to interpretation. But let's just hope that, weird or fine, that they nailed the taste. Don't smell like popcorn, it smells like fresh corn on the cob. My God! If I were to quote Sammy Sosa, it's so real. I'm gonna take a sip and I'm gonna see if this is worthy of your time and mine. Well, I'll give it this. It tastes a lot better than it smelled, but that's not really saying a whole lot because it smelled pretty rank. And I love the smell of corn on the cob. Don't get me wrong, I love that smell when you're barbecuing it, you flip it over, you unhusk it, and it gives off that nice pungent aroma. It's the smell of the butter on the top of it that mixes with it. I think it all smells great, but you gotta keep in mind, it's coming from a bottle of liquid. I would like to try to explain the taste further to you, but everybody knows what corn on the cob tastes like, and it tastes just like it with bubbles. So if you can picture that in your brain, suppose you're the Dark Phoenix, or Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, or maybe even Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, some kind of fire-based superhero. And you go to a farmer's market and you see that they're selling like this robust corn that's just filled like with so much juice that it's practically bleeding through the husks. You grab an armful of those husks and you bring them home to your ginormous grill, and you throw all of them like end to end to end to end on this grill, and you butter them as you cook them. And as they're just sitting on those grills and they're dripping like constantly, like raining down just all sorts of corn juice and butter juice, you lay down on the charcoal briquettes with your mouth open like, nah, and you just bathe in it. That's basically what this experience is like, only cold. So if I were to give this a star rating, you know what? The more I drink it, the more I kind of accept it. The more I even kind of like it, maybe a little bit kind of like it, so I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Maybe 3.5. You know what? 3.5. It deserves them. I have to remark about the aftertaste here too. When you take your first swig of this, you're gonna be hit with that corn flavor, but you're not gonna realize how strong and buttery that flavor is until a couple of seconds after, and it's really gonna just roll over you and you're gonna be like, wow, that stuff tastes legit. I mean, whether or not you are in love with the concept, they nailed the concept. If you were looking for a sweet corn flavored soda, this is a sweet corn flavored soda. There's no running from that. It's the truth. And if someone had to do it, it may as well have been Lester. Easy and easy lay. It's your good buddy Djclyve saying until next time, I'll see you in Limbo. The many singer-songwriters over the years, you got Beethoven, Bach. Go to like present day, you got Billy Joel, you got Beyonce. None of them got anything on the guy who composed this great music. Work of genius right here.